Welcome to NEXTGames Omen series. This video covering the boss fight against Kyou, using Dragoon with Trust. Now as always, we're going to start off by me going over the battle strategy that I recommend you use when taking on Kyou in this fashion, and then I'll show you a battle example executing those strategies and showing you how it goes. Let's first start with discussing gear and what you should expect to have gear-wise in order to take this on. First, your gear and food need to give you a total of 1400 accuracy in order to reliably hit Kyou. So you're normally going to want to use a high accuracy food, such as sublime sushi or seafood gratin. Now another key gear aspect you want to keep in mind is you want to have very high damage taken reduction, because I'm expecting you to tank this on Dragoon. Therefore, you want to make sure that your DT is capped at minus 50%. I do this using my Hijari helm and mail set for the first 50% of the run. You can get those from Odin. Make sure that the rest of your pieces finish capping you out at minus 50%. And then under 50%, I accomplish that minus DT reduction by using the Naomi set. And the main reason I do that is for the high magic evasion that it provides. It's going to slow our TP gain down quite a bit, but that final 25% is much safer in this set. Also, I want you to keep in mind that you do not need to augment the Naomi set in order to use it in this fashion. Here in this video, it is completely unaugmented. I'm simply using it for its magic evasion. Now let's discuss weaponing. For a weapon here, we'll be using a Trishula, currently on R13, and we are a Master Dragoon on a Master level of 8. Now I definitely wanted to go into this run with a different strategy from the Jin run that we used last week, where I simply spammed Star Divers over and over again to create Darkness skill chains for all of our damage. Here, I wanted to see how a multi-hit Darkness weapon skill would compare. Therefore, I opened it up with Star Driver, just like last week, but then I followed that up with a Sonic Thrust, which created a Distortion skill chain. The third step is another Star Driver, which now creates a Darkness skill chain. This is then followed up with the fourth step of another Star Driver to create Umbra. This definitely increased my overall DPS and is the strategy I recommend you use when taking on Kyou especially. However, I can't help but wonder is if we used a light multi-hit skill chain, our DPS would have been even higher, as innately all of the bosses in Omen do have very strong darkness resistance that they do not have to light. Therefore, in the next video, go ahead and look for a comparison for how the multi-hit light skill chain would compare to the darkness that I'm showing you in this one. Now the main mechanic of the fight against Kyou is an ability called Unflattering Bravado, which will deal 10,000 damage in a cone-shaped form right in front of the boss. Now this damage cannot be mitigated in any way, but it will be split among all the targets that it hits. Therefore, that's your goal, is to try and make it hit all of your Trust and Wyvern, therefore reducing the overall damage that each person would take. Now the easiest way to accomplish this is right at the start of the fight, simply take a few steps forward and engage the boss directly, leaving all of your Trust behind you and your Wyvern to your side. As soon as you've gotten hate established, spin around to the other side of Kyou and take a few steps back. This will make it so that none of your Trust or Wyvern should have moved, but they're now out of AoE range. You now want to proceed to get as much damage in as you can until about the threshold of 77%. Once you reach that, you want to spin Kyou around again so that he's once again facing all of your Trust, your Wyvern, and yourself. You then want to quickly weapon skill to force his use of the Unflattering Bravado ability. As soon as it goes off, you want to spin back around to the other side and take those few steps back again so that once again your Trust are out of AoE range. You're going to have to repeat this process again at 50%, 25%, and 10% hit points exactly, so make sure you're watching for those as you're fighting him. Now this is by far the easiest method that I recommend you use for taking him on, but there is an alternative one that you can use either when Dragoon's your main or your sub job, and that is through the use of Super Jump. If you use Super Jump while he is readying the Unflattering Bravado ability, it will not go off, and when you land, you will be able to successfully continue to damage him. However, your Trust will almost certainly be dead because he will turn to face them and use the ability while you are in the air. So this is really only a viable strategy for soloers that are looking to solo Omen bosses, but if you are, this is quite an easy way to get past that mechanic. You also want to keep in mind that Kyou will use 100 Fist sometime during the first 50% of the run. Now it's a fairly easy 100 Fist to deal with, as it normally is interrupted by lots of spells and abilities that he's using, which makes the flurry of attacks that much easier to deal with. Also, don't forget to use Angon as much as possible to increase your overall damage. Now, trust selection is incredibly important on this one, as you need to select trust that won't run around like Yoran Oran will. Instead, I suggest you tank yourself while using Sethas to continually restore HP, MP, and TP to the party, Joachim for marches, Arcelia for haste, and Yignis and Monborough for cures. This ends up being kind of a perfect combination for this fight. Let's go ahead and see how it goes. Enjoy the run, everyone. That's going to be it for how to take on Kyou with Dragoon solo. I hope you found that helpful. If you're new to the channel, make sure you click the subscribe button down there and the little bell icon to make sure you get notified when my new videos come out. And leave a like if you like my new version of the content. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Stay safe and stay healthy out there.